Senator Oketch, the Deputy President met the Council of Governors, and he said, you know, you can pull down our trousers and whip us. There is simply no money. So when you sat in the Senate and you were pushing for this 407 billion shillings, and I listened to Senator Sige on Citizen TV the other day, and he said, we've been told there is no money, so it would be unrealistic of us to pass 407 billion shillings when we know it is simply not there.
Let's start with the debt side that the Treasury owes. You know, the Treasury owes national government the same way it owes the county governments to start with. And I like the fact that Kwame has talked about what I'll call exchequer receipts versus exchequer demand. Yeah. On the demand side, exchequer demands are basically requisitions that exchequer gets from national government and exchequer gets from the county governments. And whenever the exchequer receipts is basically the money that they've gotten, and mostly right now the argument in the Treasury is that they are depending heavily on the money we collect every day from KRA, and then they pay. And then the question, therefore, of lack of money then becomes, does the exchequer have money really that they have collected? So they're saying that they're collecting money now and then paying as it comes, and it's not a cruel system. Yeah. It's an accounting system where the money comes and then they pay these two. Now, the reason why I have a problem with that kind of conversation is because if you go to the real numbers, there's a problem. You remember that the current money that is owed to counties is based on the 370 billion.
Yes. And
that's 370 billion. Out of that is what the remaining amount that the national government, I mean the Treasury owes those counties 94.5 billion. Now, out of that, they owe actually the national government 2 trillion. So if you look at it, the entire amount that they're supposed to give the national government in this ending financial year, and right now what is owed to the national government is 211 billion. If you look at those disparities, yeah. First of all, it's unconstitutional. Yeah. The reason why it's unconstitutional is because the prioritization of disbursement of funds between national government and county government is actually articulated under Article 219. Mm-hmm. Article 219 says that you will not delay the money for counties under any circumstances that is not under Article 225. Article 225, you can only delay monies for counties because of breaches, material breaches that goes with management of funds. Now, what happens is that there is pseudo tendency by the Treasury to prioritize the national government bills against county bills. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you take these monies as a percentage, that what is the percentage of money owed by the Treasury to national government, it comes to only 10%. But what is the percentage owed to counties? It comes to about 25% of what they're supposed to release. This is very important for Kenyans to understand because the relative amount of money that is allocated by the Constitution, which is about 15% of our ordinary revenue, is smaller than the bigger amount of money that goes to national government. So therefore, there was need to prioritize the money that goes to county, because when counties don't get 10 shillings, it has got bigger impact on the operation in the counties as compared to when the national government doesn't get 200 shillings, for instance. So this is the fundamental argument. But now, what is our problem? I've just shown you there that when there is small pot of money that has come in, there's a tendency of the Treasury to prioritize national functions over county function, when the county functions are actually getting a smaller fraction of the national budget, and therefore it has got a bigger dent in terms of their operations. So that must stop. But then there's also a question of we don't have money because of national spending. Our spending behavior is actually a very bad thing, Olive. Because if you look at where the exchequer is saying that they are getting their money, when we look at the people who are registered to be able to pay taxes in this country, we are about, I think now we're just getting towards 6.3 million people who are who are registered for tax paying and tax collection in this country, businesses, individuals, and everything. And then when you look at somewhere like in our economies around the East African market. You know, we compare the economies that are doing well. I think that Rwanda and Kenya, on average, we say that they're doing better. If you look at the number of people who are registered to be able to pay for taxes in Rwanda, there are about 350,000 people. So when you compare, the population that is paying tax in Kenya is about 12 to 13%. But when you compare the population that is paying taxes in Rwanda, is about I think 2%. Yet the Rwandan economy is able to manage its expenditure with that 2% of the population, and us, with over 10% of the population, we are overtaxing our people, but we're not seeing the money being spent in the right areas. In fact, if you look at tax versus GDP, the recommended standard in African continent right now, I think, is about 15 to 16%. But in Kenya, we're already at 17%. Yeah. Rwanda is actually in the 15%. Meaning that actually we are getting enough money through our taxes, but we're not spending it properly. And it is a misprioritization of spending by the executive and the national government. Because we have been talking about some cliches that are now coming out in the media, like we have got a bloated executive that is unnecessarily. CAS alone, we have got an expenditure that's going to about 500 million to CAS. We have got about 800 million to only 3 executive offices to be able to manage just their movement and protocol around. That alone, you've already talked about 1.3 billion that you could easily deflate and take back to county. So we have a problem here, and Kenyans need to know that if we do not control our spending as a country, then we will always not have money enough to share vertically between national government, or to share equally and fairly between national government and county government. And that overspending must stop. And then lastly, as I finish on this, Olive, we must also understand that what monies are we talking about when we talk about delays to funds, because there is also some money that is not being talked about under Article 204, which is the equalization fund. Equalization fund was money that was supposed to go to counties that were marginalized under section paper number 10 of 1965 to be able to deal with basics like water, electricity, roads, and hospitals in these counties. If you look at the formula that was given by that particular provision of law, right now the national government should have by now given counties 54 billion. And you know, this is money that has got sunset clause, in the sense that equalization fund is supposed to end in 20 years after devolution was adopted. Now, out of that 54 billion, can you believe that the government did some of the allocation of about 26 billion and was only be able to release about only 12 billion? It is the first time, actually yesterday we were debating this in the House, it is the first time that we are having a bill that can be able to actually give these counties that are suppressed by marginalization about 10 billion. That means that we still have another 31 billion that is unlocked in that money. And again, that money is with the National Treasury, and that money has not been given to these counties. So all of those monies that we're talking about, you know, the equalization money, the additional allocation money that we're talking about, and then the equitable share that the counties are supposed to get, if not released on time, have got a serious ramification in terms of absorption and dealing with problems that we are seeing in the counties. And these monies, as we are talking right now, must be given to counties. And this is something we told the CS. We had the CS in the CPIC, and we told the CS that these monies must be released to counties before the end of this financial year. Of course, as Kwame said, we have got a schedule for being able to disburse this money, and we have interrogated that schedule with the Treasury, but the Treasury has always been mischievous in not meeting those schedules, and that's why you are seeing this kind of confrontation between the Treasury and the county governments.
All right, Kwame, explain something to me.